on the next episode of Ask Sister Laila Live. This week, we'll be diving into a very interesting topic, control and impact of non-Islamic parents on new practicing Muslims. Issues like emotional pressure and disapproval, restricting religious practice, attempted undermining, and dealing with isolation and loneliness. Also acceptance for the family members who watch other family members not implementing the deen the way they should. And Allah knows best. So grab some tea, snacks, and a listening ear and join us for the Ask Sister Laila Live show. Every Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers. Planting the tree of Tawheed, a Maqasidic insight by Dr. Karim Abuzaid. Join us on Saturdays and Sundays, 9:30 p.m. Eastern, with your host, Ustada Laila Nasheeba, streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers.
The Maqasidic Tafsir.
Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Pursuing the higher aim, learning the meaning of every page. Where should I begin when I'm starting at the end? Another addition to your Islamic education, Maqasidic Tafsir, Healing and Governance, the Transformative Path of Sabah as-Tiwal, written by Dr. Karim Abuzaid. Join Ustada Laila Nasheeba every Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9:30 p.m., streaming all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers.
Okay. Alhamdulillah, wa salat, wa salam ala wa rasulullah. I'd like to welcome everybody to our Islamic Quran Tafsir class. This is our Maqasidic Tafsir class. This is the class based on the book written by Dr. Karim Abuzaid, the Maqasidic Tafsir, Volume 3 of his series, which goes into the 7 most lengthy surahs, chapters of the Quran. And also these chapters also speak about or center around the Islamic government, the governance of in Islam, which will also help to educate you about the history of Islam. It's very important for us as Muslims to know the history of Islam. And how do we learn the history of Islam? By learning the story of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his original companions. What happened, how Islam spread after his death. So you're learning about him, you're learning about the spread of Islam, and you're learning about his companions. And in doing so, you're learning about the history of Islam. And so we're now embarking upon the second part of this amazing book, which goes into the government, how our government is developed in Islam, and you're learning the history as well. When we met 2 days ago, We spoke about how after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam died, the banner of Islam was picked up by Abu Bakr radiallahu anha, and then by Umar, and then Uthman, and then Ali. And you got to see how those original companions upheld the principles of Islam, how they not only upheld the principles of Islam, but they lived them. They implemented Tawheed. They implemented El-Wala, Wal-Bara into their being, into their communities, and spreaded it throughout the Islamic territories. And let's put the PowerPoint up on the screen for tonight's discussion. And for those of you who are not watching me on YouTube, please open up a tab on your cell phone to YouTube and go to my channel, SunnahFollowers. Click on the live stream so you can see my PowerPoint and you can follow what we're speaking about. Tonight, we're going to speak about the transitions of Islamic governance. And before we go into that, I'm going to give you a brief quiz over what we discussed the last time we met for this class. And here's the first question. Question number 1. Islam teaches us to believe in, is it A, when it comes to Islamic government, we believe in, is it number 1, a democracy? Or do we believe in a republic? Or do we as Muslims believe in a caliphate? Which answer is correct? Let's see your answers. Which one do we believe in as Muslims? Is our allegiance to a democracy, a republic, or a caliphate? Which answer is correct? People in Zoom, wake up, give me an answer. Okay, she said a caliphate. Does everybody agree?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so can anyone explain to me why is it that we have Muslims here in America calling themselves Democrats? What's wrong with you? We have some Muslim women, can you believe it? And Muslim men who belong to Democratic parties. What's wrong with them? Is that showing allegiance to Islam? Being a Muslim woman who's a congresswoman or a congressman who's a Democrat, Republican? What's wrong with these people? Something's wrong with them. Something's wrong with their Aqidah. We have to distance ourselves from all that nonsense that contradicts our belief system. Okay? We don't hold titles like that. We can't run for offices in America like that, because those type of offices contradict what we are upon. Let's look at the next question. Question number 2. The Rashidun Caliphate was established based on election and allegiance given to the elected. Is that statement true or false? What do you guys think? The Rashidun Caliphate was established based on election, a person being elected, and allegiance given to whoever was elected. Is that statement true or false? Okay, what's meant by the Rashidun? Okay, that's the name that they give the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Bakr became the first caliph after him. Then Umar radiallahu anha became the second caliph after Abu Bakr. And then Uthman became the caliph after him. And then Ali. That's referred to as the Rashidun Caliphate. So the Rashidun Caliphate was established based on a person being elected and allegiance given to whoever was elected. Is that statement true or false? What do you think in my Zoom room? Is that what happened after the Prophet Muhammad died? Did they elect someone and then the people give allegiance to them? That's why y'all got to know the meaning of those Arabic terms that y'all use when y'all don't even speak Arabic. Now I'm giving it to you in English. Y'all don't know what y'all be saying, do you?
That's true.
So is this true or false?
That is true.
Okay, do you guys agree with her? True. What about the rest of you in Zoom? Who's in Zoom? People in Zoom, is this statement true or false? She said true. Anissa said true. What about everybody else in Zoom? What do you think?
False. I didn't see him as elective, so I'll say false.
Do y'all know what it means to be elected? That means somebody. Elected means somebody says, "I'm going to appoint Abu Bakr."
I changed. I'm saying false. I didn't get that word elected.
Okay. Do y'all know what elected means? It doesn't mean that they sit around and vote. It doesn't mean the way y'all think, like somebody nominates and votes. It's nominate. Yeah. Nominate is also another synonym for that. What happened? How did Abu Bakr? Did he just volunteer himself, or did somebody nominate that he be the caliph?
They nominated him to be the caliph.
Okay, that's selected. That's selected. Okay, so is a person elected? What happened with Umar? Was Umar elected and then people gave allegiance to him?
Yes.
Okay, what happened with Uthman? Did somebody elect him and then the people give allegiance to him?
Yes.
Okay, with Ali, did somebody, when he was forced and elected, did somebody elect him and then people give allegiance to him?
Yes.
Okay, so now look at the question. The Rashidun Caliphate was established based on being elected and allegiance given to the elected. Is that statement true or false?
It's true. It's true.
Okay, this is true.
Yes.
Okay, so English too, this word means elected. Okay, elected means somebody elects you. That means nominate. Nominate also means is a synonym for elect you. Elect, nominate, suggest. People don't vote on you. Now, if I had said I vote on you, do we vote? Do we vote on whether we want the person? No, but the person is elected, right?
Yes.
Okay, y'all. That's why I tell y'all, carry a dictionary. Always carry a Webster's dictionary, because we don't know the meaning. And that's, by the way, that's how Arabs are too. Arabs speak slang. They don't speak the Fusha language. They don't understand the meaning of classical Arabic either. They have slanged the Arabic language too. All language in the world has become slanged, whereas people don't understand the meaning of their own words anymore. Okay? So the Rashidun Caliphate was established based on a person being elected, and then the people would give what that Arabic word known as bay'ah. Bay'ah means allegiance to them. Okay? What about this question? Number 2. And that's the Rashidun. How does Islamic government differ from non-Islamic government? Can anybody tell me, how does Islamic government? There's a lot of ways that they differ. Tell me how Islamic government differs. Because we talked about it. How does Islamic government differ from non-Islamic government?
One way is the laws. Islamic government, we abide by the laws that Allah and Prophet Muhammad ﷺ put in place for us. And no matter where you are in the world, Islamic government if it's established, it follows those rules, whereas our government, their laws are kind of made up, and it varies city by city, state by state, and it's man-made laws.
Okay, it's Islamic government, their laws are divine. When y'all read that word divine, divine is an English word that means God's laws. Divine is a synonym for the word godly. Okay, Islamic government's laws are divinely inspired. Divinely inspired, meaning they are inspired by God or Allah. Whereas in non-Islamic government, their laws are inspired by man. That's one way they differ. Also, the laws are, since they are divinely inspired, they apply for the entire earth. Whereas man's laws, I guess the man make them high wherever they live. I don't know. Okay? But the number one thing is our laws are divinely inspired. Whereas non-Islamic governments are inspired by man. What's another difference?
Righteousness, compassionate, and with other people, they have, like, say for instance, they'll make up a law like you have to fight for liberty and different things like that, as far as in the man-made. So
okay, that's still the same thing. The simple fact that Islamic government is based on, are divinely inspired, that means that the laws of Islamic government are based on justice, compassion, equality, and things like that, because they're divinely inspired. Whereas man-made laws can be disparate, can be unjust, because they're inspired by man. There's no equality when man induces his opinions. Whereas when it's divinely inspired, there's always equality. Any other differences?
The non-Islamic government changes with the times, and Islamic government doesn't. Islam is for all times.
Good job. Good answer. Exactly. Man-made laws for the non-Islamic government are subject to change. Divinely inspired laws never change. Good job. So there's so many differences, okay, between Islamic government as opposed to non-Islamic. And also, as we talked about the last time we met, Islamic laws are divinely inspired, but they need a strong leader. They need a strong leader to carry them out. That's really important. They need a strong leadership to implement and make sure that they're carried out. That's another difference. The divinely inspired laws have to have a strong leadership. They can't be carried out alone. They have to have a strong human leadership to carry them out. That's another difference. Okay, let's look at the next question. Wait a minute, did I skip one? Wait a minute, I think I had another. I think that was it. I only put two. I took another one away. Okay, so those are the two questions that basically summarize what we spoke about the other day. And so now, today, what we're going to do is speak about, how I'm going to basically summarize the history of Islamic law, of Islamic government, how Islamic government developed over the centuries. Okay, We talked about how when the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam lived, he established the Islamic State. That's the Caliphate. When he migrated from Mecca to Medina, he established the Islamic State based on divine law. Then when he died, Abu Bakr, followed by Umar, followed by Uthman, followed by Ali, took up the reign. So what happened after Ali? Okay, this is where we're going to pick up today. So everybody look at the PowerPoint, and let me make my screen so I can see too. Now, after Ali, and you don't hear this mentioned much because it's not really too much, because it was short-lived. After Ali, his son Al-Hassan assumed the caliphate after his death, but his caliphate was short-lived. Al-Hassan was only the caliph for maybe 6 months at the most, but he gave it up. He was only the caliph for no more than 6 months, but he gave it up to Muawiyah. He gave his caliphate up to Muawiyah as a means of ending the civil war that the Muslims were fighting against each other with. That was one of the worst times in our history. That was the great fitna, one of the first great fitnas that the Muslims were engaged in. So he turned his caliphate over to Muawiyah, and his decision showed his deep commitment to the community's welfare. It also showed his commitment to peace and unity because of this great sacrifice that he made. You know, Hassan, he was all about peace and reconciliation. And the act that he did prevented further erosion and further division of the Muslims. And so by doing this, this was one of the greatest acts that anyone could have done. And when he turned his caliphate over to Muawiyah, because Muawiyah had established himself already as the caliph of Syria, whereas his father Ali had established himself as the caliph over in Mecca. When Ali had died, Al-Hassan took over the caliphate. And when Al-Hassan gave it to Muawiyah, that made Muawiyah the caliph of the entire Muslim Ummah. And this led to the end of that caliphate and the beginning of the Umayyad, what's known in history as the Umayyad Caliphate. And that became a pivotal moment in Islamic history, because this transition of Islamic governance brought a change. The shift from the caliphate to the Umayyad dynasty brought a change, because remember, during the Rashidun era, it was all about no heredity. The caliphate was based on a person being elected and an allegiance sworn to that person. That's what Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, and Ali did. Well, when Ali's son turned the caliphate over to Muawiyah, and Muawiyah established the Umayyad dynasty, it shifted to now hereditary. It became a hereditary succession, like a monarchy. They still ruled based on Islamic law. But the Umayyads, they maintained the Islamic legal system, and they continued to spread Islam throughout the world, but they turned it into a monarchy because it was based on hereditary succession. Okay? The Umayyads, they made Damascus, which was in Syria, the capital, and they expanded Islam even further than what it was, but you know, family was everything. And this all took the Muslims to the hadith that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, a statement that the Prophet had made before he died. Ibn Abbas, may Allah be pleased with him, had brought it up. Ibn Abbas, who was the governor of Medina, he reminded the Muslims, he said, remember the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said the beginning of this matter is prophethood and mercy. Then it will become a khalifa and mercy. Then it will become a kingdom and mercy. Then it will become an emirate and mercy. Then the people will be oppressive like donkeys. And so when you look at that hadith, you can see how it played out in the beginning. You know, the Rashidun time with Abu Bakr, you know, Umar, Uthman, Ali. It was, you know, the Khalifa and mercy. And then the Umayyads, that was a kingdom and mercy. And then after the Umayyads, it was an emirate and mercy. And then after that, look at it now. Now it's oppressive, like donkeys. So the Umayyad era flourished, unrestrained by external influences on their rule. Their governance, while adhering to Islamic law and principle as the cornerstone of justice and equality, is shifted towards dynastic succession, concentrating leadership within the family. But nevertheless, the Umayyad Caliphate played a pivotal role in the global expansion of Islam and remained committed to enforcing Sharia across its vast empire, contributing significantly to the legacy of Islamic civilization. And during this period, the Islamic empire expansion, sophisticated innovations, including the diwan system for tax collection and the introduction of postal services. Okay, and these adaptations demonstrated the application of Islamic governance principles to meet contemporary needs while efficiently managing the empire. So that was the Umayyad period. And then after them came the Abbasid transition. The Abbasid transition. And this transition overthrew, the Abbasids overthrew the Umayyads in a revolutionary war that was fueled by discontent. The people were unhappy with the Umayyads' governance, the favoritism, the family rule and all of that. And the Abbasid era, it marked a golden era of Islamic civilizations. They put emphasis on scientific achievements, the arts, learning, mathematics, and all of that stuff. The Abbasid era was known as the golden age of Islamic civilization. They were all about the sciences, philosophy, and all of that. And their capital shifted from Syria to Baghdad. This is the Persian reign and all of that. They were into chemistry and astronomy, mathematics, medicine, philosophy. So you can see this was the era of Sufism, the era of all of that innovation that we see that's prevalent today. Okay. And then after the Abbasids, it transitioned to the Ottoman Empire. The Ottomans, they replaced the Abbasid dynasty And the Ottomans, they took over smaller semi-independent states such as the Tulanid dynasty in Egypt and places like that. The Ottoman Empire represented a significant evolution of Islamic governance, melding the time-honored principles of the caliphate of a changing world. They called themselves the sultans. They assumed a dual role of political and religious leadership, fusing Islamic principles with government. Their Sharia laws were influenced with the creation of religious endowments, social infrastructures, social reform, and all of that. And finally, the Ottoman Empire was dissolved in the 1920s and all of that. Okay, so, and that was the end of the 1920s, marked the end of this Islamic reign. So as you can see, it got worse and worse and worse, as that hadith said. It went from prophethood down to the Ottoman Empire. And that's why here at SunnahFollowers, you see that hadith that from Sahih Bukhari, where the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam said, stick to what I am upon and what my companions are upon and what the first 4 leaders after me are upon. And that's why here at SunnahFollowers, we don't talk about nobody other than those first 4 rulers: Abu Bakr, Umar, Uthman, Ali. Okay? Because everything starts going downhill after them in regards to Islam governance, further and further and further away from the Sunnah. So that's just a brief history. And now we're at the part where Islamic governance is based on oppression, and people are like monkeys. The government's like monkeys. All right? Okay, so I'm going to stop right here. The next time we meet for this class, which will be next week, we're going to go on and continue with where we are today. You know, this was a brief little catch up to today. We're going to speak about where we are today in regards to Islamic governance, and to see how far we are from how the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam was when he first, migrated to Medina, and the great big step we are away from Umar and them. So any questions or comments, inshallah, you can go ahead and ask them. And I will give you a quiz on these different eras, inshallah. Any questions?
Laila, what color book is this in? I'm tired of writing.
It's right there on the screen. It's yellow.
It's the white one.
It's yellow.
What color is it? White? White?
What color did I just say?
I didn't hear it.
Yellow.
Yeah, I don't have a yellow one. Shoot. Okay. Thanks.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, please, guys, we need donations for this website. I know we're at the end of the week. Some of you get paid. Don't forget about SunnahFollowers. Okay, we're almost at the end of this month. We still have some more bills that need to be paid. Don't forget, the first of the month is when this streaming program come out, but we haven't even gotten through the rest of this month. Please, we need some donations. I would say we need $500 more. I would say we need about $500 more to end out this month. Yes, just to end out the bills for this month. So please donate to support us. You can donate using Cash App, using Zelle or PayPal. Please, guys, $500 will take us through the end of this month, inshallah. Tomorrow, don't forget we have the special Ask Sister Laila Live, the sister request of Sister Mina. We're going to speak about control and acceptance within the family. You know, how to deal with the fact that some of your family members are not too accepting of you because you are a Muslim who practices the religion and they don't. And also, you may deal with family members who are not too accepting of you because you converted to Islam. So, and I do have Sister Amatullah and Brother Edward sending me. I'm still waiting on those questions from you guys. Inshallah, they'll be sending them questions in tonight or in the morning to me so I can prepare them for tomorrow's Islam Q&A like y'all did last week. Y'all, you almost got them together. Good job. Yeah, let me play the advertisement for it. Let me show y'all the ad for it tomorrow. Okay, let me play it. Inshallah. Hold on.
On the next episode of Ask Sister Layla Live. This week, we'll be diving into a very interesting topic, control and impact of non-Islamic parents on new practicing Muslims. Issues like emotional pressure and disapproval, restricting religious practice, attempted undermining, and dealing with isolation and loneliness. Also acceptance for the family members who watch other family members not implementing the deen the way they should. And Allah knows best. So grab some tea, snacks, and a listening ear and join us for the Ask Sister Layla Live show. Every Friday, 9:30 p.m. Eastern. Streaming on all major platforms. Channel SunnahFollowers.
Yeah, that should be pretty interesting. Yeah, that's tomorrow at 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Yeah, so inshallah, make sure everybody's here for that. And also whatever other questions you guys have too, you know, make sure you bring them here for the Q&A. All right, guys, no other questions. I'm going to log out for tonight, and inshallah, I'll see everybody here tomorrow. Yes, I have my class at 6:30 too, inshallah. Okay, subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilaik. Assalamu alaikum, everybody.